Hi, welcome to episode 119 of the Passionate Spinner podcast. My name is Tracy. You can find me as Schnüffeltier on Ravelry and Instagram. There's a Ravelry group for the podcast. Please come over, join. Thank you so much for being here. And today I'm going to say stuff in the beginning of the podcast that's very important. So I'm going to say it right now so everybody gets to hear it. There's been a lot of discussion, let's call it discussion about racism in the knitting community lately. And I just want to make clear that me not saying anything so far does not mean I am in any way okay with it. You know, I try to do the right thing, and the right thing right now for me as a white woman who has, born privileges, I think the right thing for me is to listen, to learn, to educate myself, to do better, to help make this better, but not to stand up for a cause that I am not the center of. And I don't want to make myself the center of a discussion that I am not being the center of by nature. Does that make any sense? I just don't think that it is a time for me to speak. It's a time to listen and to learn. But I don't want anyone to think that me not speaking can be, misread as being part of a silent majority. Because I'm not. So just so everybody is very clear on this, if you are a racist or any other type of asshole, you just can fuck off. I do not want you here. If you're a nice person, no matter what color or age or gender or sexuality or, anything, I don't care. You're nice, you're welcome, you're a dick, go away. That's, I cannot say it in easier words. So now let's get into the knitting, because it's actually a knitting podcast. So this is what this should be about. And I hope I made myself very clear with what I just said. Okay, what I'm wearing is also my thing for knitting in the past. It is the Ingalls sweater by Caitlin Hunter, and it's my favorite thing ever. This is so good. Okay, I'm going to stand up and show it to you. This is my sweater. I went for relaxed fit instead of oversized. So I knitted a size smaller than I actually need. And I think it turned out amazing. So I love these sleeves, these puff sleeves. Gorgeous. This sweater is just, it makes me so happy. So the yarn that I used for this sweater, and also I don't want anyone to think that me just switching and talking about my actual knitting is me downplaying the problem. It's not. Just to make that clear. Okay, now back to the knitting. My sweater. It's the Ingalls pattern by Caitlin Hunter. It looks like this. This is her pattern. And this is the fit that it should have. Very, very, very much positive ease. Very much positive ease. A lot of positive ease. And I went for positive ease, but not a lot of it. The main yarn that I used is Wollmeise DK in the Grand Mère colorway. And it is this yarn here. This is left over from the third skein that I bought. I would say it's about 2/3 of the skein, because I only used the last skein for the second sleeve. And the yarn that I knit here in the yoke is yarn from my friend Sandra from Kunterbunte Wolle. And I have put it already in here for our next project. But it does not show on camera how gorgeous this yarn actually is. It is sparkly, beautiful sparkly yarn with lots and lots of speckles. So it doesn't really show on camera, but it is just so pretty. And yeah, like I said, I have put it together for another sweater. Something with stripes that's going to happen in the future. I'm just so happy. I knit my sweater on Diacrafts needles in 4mm. Did I? Yes. The ribbing is knit on 3.5 millimeters. That's a US 4. The actual sweater is knit on a US 6. That's 4 millimeter. And I used, like I said, my die crafts needles for it, and it was amazing. And because I used my die crafts needles, I even did the sleeves in Magic Loop. I did not transition to DPNs for the sleeves. And can I just say it again? I love this sweater so much. It's so gorgeous. And it's the second sweater of the year, the second purple sweater of the year as well. And it's just amazing. I need to get more of the Wollmeise DK. This is gorgeous stuff. I already liked it when I knit with it, but now that it's washed and, you know, ready to wear and I have it on my skin, it's amazing. Okay. Now, I think that was all I could tell you about this sweater. I have something in my glasses, by the way, and it is really bothering me. I have to try to look around the dirt on my glasses. Okay, knitting in the present. I have 3 things to show. The first thing is the Sode cardigan by Hiroko Payne. The pattern was published in Len issue 6. And I'm using Rowan Fine Art Aran weight in this gorgeous dusky, dark dusky pink. I'm sorry, I'm also sick and heavily medicated. So if I say weird things, let's blame the Lemsip. I have almost, oh, I'm in the middle of a row. I never stop in the middle of a row, but I had to because my timer went off and I had to get my kid from kindergarten. So yeah, I'm in the middle of a row. But I can at least try to show you what it looks like. So this is the back. And this is the front with the actual knit-on pockets that will be flipped over. I have started the outro chart here on this cable, and I need to knit 2.5 more rows to be done with all the charts for the body. Because then I just have to knit ribbing for the length that I want my sweater to be. And it's going to be a brainless project after that because, you know, the sleeves do have a cable, but this cable, you know, it's this cable here. That is so simple. I don't need to think about it. And yeah, I'm very excited. So this is going to transition from very much involved and a lot to think while knitting to super easy and just, you know, brainless knitting. It's amazing. I mean, it just, I cannot understand how people come up with stuff like this. It's just, no, and now it's where it's belonged. It's, yeah, I don't get it. How can your brain work in that way? I just don't understand. So let's get these sleeves a bit up. Oh, okay, good. Now, the other thing is the retro pullover that I showed you last week. It is a pattern by Nora Gone for Barocco. It looks like this. I have decided to use 4 different colors, and I also have decided to knit it in the round. So my 4 colors are this gray Regia 8-ply, this yellow Merino Plus from Wollerödel, this charcoal hand-dyed yarn, and this black online Timona. Where is it? There it is. That's the label for the black yarn. I had all of these. I had 2 skeins of the black, I had 2 skeins of this, and I had 1.5 skeins of the hand-dyed and 3 skeins of this. So I wanted to use these together in a project because they weren't enough for anything really except for hats and scarves and stuff. And I didn't want to make a hat. I wanted a sweater. And I'm quite far along on this. I have divided for fronts and back here. So this is what it looks like so far. And then I have knit up the front this far. I tried it on and it is, I would say, the same fit as this. It's very relaxed, which this shouldn't have been. And I should have, you know, used my brain a bit more, because I use yarn that's a bit thicker and I use thicker needles, and I still went for the size that I should have went for, because the sizing was a bit off for me. I'm knitting the size 40-inch bust, which is already a bit too big. The smaller size would have been 36-inch, which is too small. And I, you know, because I always go for the bigger one because I'm such a tight knitter, I thought I'm going to go for the bigger one with this as well. But I should have went with the small one. But it doesn't really matter. It's going to fit with a relaxed fit. It's going to look amazing. And here we did some shorter shaping to make the fan pattern really show up. The top of the pattern, the sweater, will be yellow, because yellow is the color I have most of. And so yeah, this is what it looks like so far. I have carried along the yarns in the side seams. I did faux side seams with 2 purl stitches. So here's the one where I changed colors. And this is what it looks like from the inside. And this doesn't really bother me at all, because, you know, no way in hell I was going to weave in all those ends. No, not gonna happen. So I managed to carry the yarns up the armhole shaping as well. It's nice and stretchy, and I will do it like this again, you know, no weaving in a million ends on a sweater. So yes, this is coming along. Someone on my Instagram said it reminded them of Bumblebee, and not a Bumblebee, sondern the Bumblebee, you know, the Transformer. And in Germany, we did have a children's show. It's called Biene Maya. And so this is my Maya sweater, because a friend of mine started singing when I showed him my sweater. And it does really look like a Biene Maya sweater. But I love it. I think this is going to look amazing with a gray Hollyburn skirt. So I look blah, blah. I really look forward to this one. And the other thing I wanted to show is my new pair of socks that I started. And I wanted to show you the old socks that I have to replace, and I forgot to bring them. So now I am going to actually get them, because it's important. And you will be alone for 20 seconds. Okay, I'm pretty sure that wasn't even 20 seconds. So I started socks. I know I'm still nowhere near a mood of where I want to knit socks, but I had to start socks. I'm gonna show them to you. I'm using my sock sack from Stitch Union. She is my friend. She lives in New Zealand, and you can buy her bags with from Vintage Pearls. So here's a bit of advertising for you. And I started socks. I started a pair of socks out of Yarn Pirate yarn in the colorway Killer Bees, and is a superwash merino fingering weight. And as it has 480 yards, it is a very, very thin fingering weight. But here it is. Here's my started sock. This is the colorway. It's acid green, acid yellow, light gray, and black. And this is my husband's favorite sock yarn ever. This yarn, the Killer Bees, was part of the Yarn Pirate Yarn Club 14 years ago. So it's a long time ago. And I got a skein on D-Stash. Knit a pair of socks for my husband. He loved them. He wore them on our wedding day, because why wouldn't you? And they are, like I said, 100% merino, very thin yarn. And my husband is very hard on his socks. He wears hand knit socks every single day. And he wore those, you know, until they actually fell apart. And I wasn't allowed to throw them out because they were his favorites. So I went on Ravelry, got to the D-Stash pages, found another skein, knit a new pair of Killer Bees, and then I was allowed to throw the old ones out. So knowing that these socks were his absolute favorite and that they will die in, you know, roughly 6 years, I went on to D-Stash again. And in the end, with, you know, the second pair that I had already knit, I had 5 skeins of this yarn. So I still have 2 perfect skeins, and I just have bubbled up this one to knit a new pair. So this is what I have so far. I started them yesterday. I'm knitting my husband's socks with 72 stitches on a US 2, a 2.75 millimeter needle. So this is the first sock. I started yesterday. And I'm going to show you the old socks because that's why I went outside the room. This is the old pair. I knit those 6 or 7 years ago, and you can already see the gigantic hole. And you can also see, I mean, these are a size 45, or they used to be a size 45. That's a, I think a US men's 12 or 13, 12 and a half. I don't know, gigantic. My husband has gigantic feet. And, you know, I don't think he would even fit in those socks anymore because they are so felted down. And also, just, you know, just so you can see the difference. Someone on my Instagram commented and said they couldn't really believe that it's the same color because it was so washed out. And, you know, they were concerned with the quality, I think. But I have washed these socks at least 50 times. So I think after 50 washes, considering that it is a merino yarn with no nylon in them, these look not too bad. Except for, you know, the gigantic hole in here. And that's the only hole in this one. And the other one has the same hole right on top of the heel, you know, before I started the heel. And it has another hole in the foot. So these are just, they're done. They don't even fit my husband anymore. And he is, I sent him a picture with the socks, my fingers sticking through the holes, and said, say bye-bye to your killer bees. And he was like, no. So yeah, that's why I went to my stash, got out another skein, and started a new pair. I have enough yarn to knit this one and 2 more pairs, and then probably 2 more pairs out of all the leftovers. So we're good for a few more years because Yarn Pirate went out of business. But I'm gonna probably try and go on these stashes and look if I can find more of this yarn because he loves them so much. They're his, like I said, all-time favorite socks, and yeah, there is a big difference between the new and the old. So yes, these are gonna go in the bin now. There we go. And they're in the bin. And I'm gonna work on a pair of socks for my husband because he deserves them. Because he loves them, you know, and like I said, we've been together for a very long time and he's been wearing hand knit socks for the majority of that time because I introduced him to hand knit socks and he decided to never wear anything else again. So yeah, and now I have to suffer through his gigantic feet when it comes to the knitting part, but I'll gladly do it as he loves his socks. So if you, by any chance, have a skein of killer bees in your stash that you don't want, send it to me, please. I gladly take it. So that's it. These 3 things are what I'm actively working on. But for knitting in the future, I want to start all the things. I like everything. I want to start everything. I'm in such a cast-on mood, it's incredible. But I'm making myself stop because I really want to knit the new coat pattern by Joji Locatelli, the All the Lights. And I have yarn for that, but I have made myself the promise, or I gave myself a promise, that I would finish Sew Day first. I cannot have 2 gigantic cabled cardigans on the needles. That's not going to happen. But what I really want to start, and what I'm going to start very soon, is a project for the hybrid knitting knit-along that Linda from the Hip Hip Baba Knit Stories podcast is co-hosting with Stephen West. And I have partial yarn for 2 projects. So I received my book. It looks like this. It is the hybrid knitting number 1. It has 6 projects, if I count it correct. It also has a signature. Very important stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 6. Yeah, it has 6 patterns, and I want to knit all 6 of them. They are all gorgeous. So the first thing I really want to knit is, where's the picture? Is there a better picture? No. It's this hat. It's the bubble hat. It's the hat from the... Actually, I want to knit the 2 things from the cover, you know. That would have been the easiest thing to show. So I want to knit the hat, and I want to knit the sweater. For the hat, I have not looked at the actual... My husband's home. He just came home from work. I hope he will stay out of my room. I haven't looked at the actual yarn weight, which would be, you know, smart to do before I check the yarn. But I really would love to use this yarn for the hat as the main color. It is Lana Grossa Slow Wool Canapa, and it is a merino and hemp yarn. That's the word. And for the contrast, you know, for the white in his hat, I'm either going to get a cream in this yarn, or I'm also thinking maybe a light pink. That could be cool. So I want to use this yarn for the hat. And for the sweater, he uses Woolfolk Luft. And I have yarn that I can use for the contrast color, which is white in his sweater. I'm going to try to find a picture of the sweater in whole, you know, where I can see the rest of it. It has to be somewhere. Of course, it's here. So this is the sweater. So I have yarn that I can use for the white part, and I need to get yarn for the black part. And for the black part, I also want to get this yarn in a cream color, because for the contrast, you know, for the stripes, I have this yarn in my stash that is very close to the Woolfolk Luft, I think. And I bought this in the Coats outlet shop years and years and years ago. And I got these 4 skeins for €6. I have no idea why. I think they are not the weight they should be. You know, they're not heavy enough to be sold as single skeins. But it is a very deep teal color. And I think this deep teal color paired with this in a natural creamy white would make a perfect sweater. So I need to go to my local yarn shop. And I'm going to do that next week, because tomorrow a friend of mine arrives. We'll stay here for a week, and we will definitely go to my local yarn shop. So these are the things I want to start for the knit along. I'm going to finish the hat for the knit along. I will not finish the sweater, because the knit along is only through February, and I will not make a complete sweater in February. I don't think so, because I still want to finish Sode and the retro pullover, you know, and that's a bit much. The other thing I really want to start is Shifty by Andrea Mowry. And I'm sorry for turning all the time, but my place is so cluttered that I couldn't get my things in one place to show. So Shifty is a new sweater pattern by Andrea Mowry, and it is written for Dyed in the Wool by Spin Cycle Yarns, which is gorgeous, but it's also very expensive. But I'm a spinner, and I have tons of handspun yarn, and I decided to knit it out of handspun because the dyed in the wool looks very handspun. I'm gonna make mine a bit longer because this is so short. It's a bit too cropped for my taste, but I do like the sweater. And I have found 4 skeins of handspun yarn that I want to use, and these are all 200 gram skeins, so you know they're big skeins. And I came up with these. Now, let's show them. Ugh, they're so big. Okay, here we go. These are my 4 skeins of handspun. This one here, the one on the, you know, that one, is not handspun by me. I bought it. The other 3 are mine. And I think these 4 really go well together and have still a bit of contrast, so the sweater will look good in the end. So this is definitely going to happen. This is handspun that I bought from Etherische Öle, and she dyed the fiber and spun it up. This here was a commercial top that I bought when I bought my Magikraft Rose spinning wheel. It was the first thing I ever spun on it. So This is my hand spun. Then I have this here, and it is a combo ply out of Vampires of Venice and the Moriarty colorways from Into the World. Sorry. So this is this one here. And the last one was made from Rolex that I made myself on my blending board. And I called this Tiger with a Pink Bow Tie. So these 4 will make my Shifty sweater. And I think these 4 are just perfect for this project. They're also all the same weight and they're fairly thin, so I can substitute them for the sweater. Now they're all on the floor. Okay. What else do I want to show? Oh, okay. Spinning. I have spinning. I finished the green fiber for my blanket project, and I finally found a label that I can show you. All the yarn or all the fiber that I'm spinning for my blanket project is from Almrauschwolle on Etsy. She's my friend and she dyes beautiful fiber and yarn. And these 4 bobbins are finished now. They are ready to be plied. This was the main color. I had 3 braids of this. I did a real combo spin and they are now ready to be plied together. I hopefully will do it maybe tonight. We will see. So that's what I have for spinning. I'm sorry. I have to drink a little bit. Now, new stuff. I received my Miss Babs yarn. I think I talked about my Miss Babs yarn last time and told you that I was waiting for it, and it's arrived. And this ended up being very expensive because shipping to Germany from the US is excruciating. And I did get the yarn 20% off in the end of year customer appreciation sale, which saved me almost enough to have it free shipping. But then I had to pay almost 50 euros customs. So this ended up being super expensive. But I love it. I ordered 2 different yarns. I got 2 skeins of Yauza. That is 100% superwash merino in the colorway Not Quite. And there is this beautiful dark pink. And these 2 should make a sweater for me. You know, it's 560 yards each. That makes 1120 yards together. And if I'm going to go for a cropped sweater, which I like to do because they go well with skirts, I have enough for a sweater. And the other yarn I got was the Killington. It's a sport weight. It is a Polworth and silk blend. It has 700 yards per skein, and I got 2 skeins as well. And the colorway is Old Gold. Isn't it beautiful? So these are my 4 skeins that I ordered from Miss Babs that ended up costing a fortune, but they are so pretty. Oh, okay, I'm gonna hold them here. I think this is the closest I can get. This is still a bit more pink than it shows up, but I love these. And like I said, they hopefully will make a sweater for me. If not, I'm gonna have short sleeves. Who cares? But gorgeous stuff. So yeah, that's what I ordered. And then I received a lot of things because it was my birthday last weekend and I had my knit group over for brunch. And I brought all the knitting and sewing, crafting related gifts that I received because I wanted to show them to you. So I'm going to start with this here. I received this, the first gift that I got, and I got it like 10 days before my birthday and I didn't open it because I'm very good at this, you know, just waiting. It is a very beautiful tote bag that my friend Ellie from the German podcast Verstrickt und Zugenäht made for me. It's gorgeous. So gorgeous. I cannot wait to use this. I'm going to take this with me to EYF for sure. I'm going to fill it with all the yarn. So that is where this is going to head it. Then I got a lot of tape measures from my friend, the Stitchinista, because I lose those all the time. Or Tim plays with them and they just break. And also what she gave me was a tailor's hem. And if you have no idea what this is, it is basically a little piece of rounded ironing board. So if you do princess seams, you know, on the bodice of a sweater, of a dress. You cannot really press them out on your flat ironing board because they are curved. And with this, you can really press things. So I wanted to have one of these for a while, and now I do. Then from Barbara, from Almrauschwolle, I got a beautiful bat that she carded especially for me. Ooh. And it looks like this. She added, she included a bit of normal top, and this is the bat. It's all shades of green because I love green. And it's very heavy. Very big. And then I have this thing to show, and this thing is full of other stuff. So this here is a project bag that my friend Ushi developed herself. It is like a little suitcase, basically. And she is going to vend at a local event in a few weeks. It's actually the same weekend as EYF. That's why I am flying home from EYF on Saturday. So I will only be at EYF Thursday and Friday. I'm going to fly home Saturday so I can go to my friend's first vending experience on Sunday. It's going to be a very buy-heavy weekend, but who cares? So she made me this. She has her new label. It's called Fadenmacht. And it opens up. And it will, you know, it completely opens up. So I'm going to take out all the other things that I have put in here. And there's a notions pouch attached in here. And you can open up the whole thing. So you can put your pattern in here, put your yarn in, and close everything up. And you have everything ready to go. And you have a steady bottom that holds your pattern. And it has a magnetic snap. And that is it. This is her invention. And I love it. I think it's amazing. So this is my very new and very loved project bag that I'm going to, you know, put into use very soon. And then I received yarn from my friend Jenny. She has a German podcast called Wolliges Geplauder. And she gave me this beautiful skein of Malabrigo Mesita. It's a single yarn. And it's gorgeous. Then my friend Michael gave me a Wollmeise skein because this skein of Wollmeise is called Resi. And Resi is my actual name. Well, it's not my actual name. My actual name is Theresia, a very old German name. It's like Teresa, but, you know, with an extra I in it. And the German abbreviation for that is Resi, like Tracy for Teresa, you know, Resi is the German version. So that is what everybody calls me, except for, you know, you all, you all out there. And there is a Wollmeise colorway. It's not named after me, but it has my name. So I have quite a lot of these. And they vary in saturation and color intensity. So I'm probably going to use them sometime in the future to do a faded coat or cardigan with them, where I'm just putting all my Resi skeins in, you know, order light to dark and just use them up. So here it is. This is my new Wollmeise skein, and it is gorgeous. It's very, very good that the colorway that has my name also has my colors, because it is mainly brown and gray and black. And I love those. And he also made me a pair of socks out of the Opal yarn Schneider, which is seamstress. And they look like this. They have a vertical shaft that's knit, you know, in garter ridges, and then a normal foot attached to them. They are super cool. I have not worn them yet because I wanted to show them, but they will go in my drawer right away so I can wear them. And then my friend Petra also knit me a pair of socks. I think this is also a skein of Opal sock yarn, which is amazing because they hold up forever. And they look like this. It's a beautiful pattern, and I have a lot of pairs that she knit for me, and I wear them all the time. So Yay, new socks for me. I'm so glad. I'm so happy. I don't have anywhere. Okay. I normally don't like my birthday all that much. So having brunch with my friends was a very good idea. Now that is it for new stuff. Reading, listening, watching. I finished my last book. It's called Literally Oft by Erin Scott. I can show you again a picture of the, what's the word? Of the book cover. Because I took a picture. Now where is it? It's gone. It's called Literally Oft by Erin Scott. It is the fourth book in the Pepper Brooks Cozy Mystery series. It's so far the last of the books. Oh, here it is. There will be a fifth one coming out very soon, I hope, because I really enjoyed these. So this is the cover. It's Literally Oft. I read these on my Kindle because they were for free with Kindle Unlimited. And I took screenshots of the, the covers on my phone so I can show you something. So I read this, I finished this one. It was the first one where I had absolutely no clue who the actual murderer was. And it was again linked to a literary great. It was Thoreau, who I have to be honest, don't know anything about. But I enjoyed it anyways. So that was that. And yesterday evening, while knitting on the Killer Bee socks, I started a new book, and it is called The Bigfoot Blunder. It is by Amanda A. Lee, and it is a Charlie Rhodes cozy mystery. I love cozy mysteries. I just do. And this one has a paranormal side to it as well. I'm not that far into it, but it looks like Charlie has some paranormal abilities herself. And she just started her new job, which is with a company. I'm gonna just compare them to the Ghostbusters, but they're not, all about ghosts. They're about paranormal activity everywhere related to crime. So she just started her job there and is on her first case. And this is the cover. Again, they are for free on Amazon, Kindle Unlimited. And I really like this one. I started it yesterday. It has 300 pages and I have read the first third because I really liked it. So if you don't like cozy mysteries, it's not for you. If you do, try it. It's really fun. So then for listening, I'm still listening to the Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince book. And I'm rubbing my hands all the time. What's wrong with me? Maybe I have to sit on them. I'm listening to that. It's narrated by Stephen Fry, and I love it. For watching, I finished Bones season 2 and I started season 3. And also this week, one evening, I decided I didn't want to watch Bones because it's tragedy and murder and I wanted to have something nice. So I decided to watch a movie that I found on Amazon Prime. I think the English title is just The Bookshop. The German title was Der Buchladen der Florence Green. And I expected, from reading the synopsis, I expected a movie about a woman, a young widow, who fulfills her and her late husband's lifelong dream of having their own bookshop. That's what I expected. It's not really what I got. So I did not enjoy this movie, I have to say. Nothing really happened. The pacing was weird. There were things in there that made absolutely no sense to me, and they were just like, why is that important? Why is this in the story? It's just, and the ending was just blah. So if you want to watch this movie, go ahead, but I cannot recommend it. I'm sorry. Okay, I have nothing to show for sewing because I did not sew. I want to sew. I have a million things on my list of things that I want to make, but I didn't start anything yet. So nothing there. For everything else, the next VKN will be on Saturday, the 9th of February. That is next week. It's going to be at 9 p.m. GMT +1. That's Berlin time. Yeah, I will not podcast before that. So this is your last warning that it's going to happen. because like I said, I'm going to have a guest all week and I will not be able to podcast. So I'm going to write it in the Ravelry group. You can check it and, just be there. I hope you will be there. And then for everything else, for my mental health talk, I have just one thing. Like I said before, it was my birthday last weekend and it was not a good day. It did not start out well. It started out with me crying a lot because, it was a birthday without my dad. The second one I had to have without him. And I was in my kitchen starting to prepare stuff. My husband and my son were still asleep. And I was listening to music and I had deliberately put in fun stuff, I put in a mix that I put together years ago with some of my favorite albums. It had Smash by Offspring, Dookie by Green Day, Whatever It's Called by Billy Talent, and a Good Charlotte album. I think it was The Young and the Hopeless. So I had that, in a shuffle mode to be just in a good mood. And it didn't really help. I still had to cry. And I could not really feel my dad being there, because that's a bit different. But I could hear his voice in my head saying, "Don't cry, silly. Everything's the way it's supposed to be." And I think that having that memory of him saying things like that to me helped me, just to get over the grief for that day and enjoy my birthday in the end. And I really did. But it just showed me that Christmas wasn't that bad, but my birthday is awful. It was bad last year as well. So are things getting better because Christmas wasn't that bad? Or is Christmas just not that important to me? I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah. Apart from that, I'm okay. I'm sick, but everything is getting better. It has to. So that is it for this week. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful next 10 days or so. I will probably podcast in the beginning of the week after the next week. And yeah, I just don't know what else to say. I hope you all have a wonderful time. Enjoy everything you do and stop by the weekend. Until then, bye.